Hi guys, Twitch here from Creep Designs. Today I am showing you an extendable table that I have refinished for a client. It was going to be a video showing the table and the matching chairs, but the video ended up way too long, so I'm going to do it in two separate parts. It has been a while since I've posted a video. I haven't taken a longer Christmas break. I've been flat out doing renovations and working on the table and chairs and trying to get everything done, and decided that instead of rushing things, I would take my time with them and get them done properly, and I would just have to take a break from posting videos. But I'm going to try and get back in the swing of things now, and going to start with this one. So let's get it on. So I'll start by giving you a quick view of what I'm working on. So these are the chairs that I'll be doing in a separate video. And this is the table flipped upside down. And I've already started pulling the chairs apart, and this is the cushions here, which will be getting reupholstered also in the next video. As always, start by giving everything a really good dust, and then I will go over it with Millie clean cut in some hot water, not soapy, you know what I mean. Always clean before you sand, because when you're sanding you don't want to accidentally push in any grime or wax that might be on it. Now that I've given it all a really good clean, I'm using the Prepmate2 Orbital Sander from Millie. This sander comes with a foam interface pad for doing curved surfaces, but in this case I'm just using it without the foam interface pad. Works absolutely amazingly, and I will put a link in the description of a video where I talk all about this sander and how much I love it. So the center parts of the extendable table were a bit harder to work on, because I'd say they weren't used as much because obviously they were tucked away underneath. So the surface on it obviously hadn't been worn down as much from use, so they did take a bit more work to get the finish of, but it all came off perfectly. I started with 80 grit sandpaper and then worked my way up to, I think, 240 grit sandpaper. I could be wrong, I can never remember. At this point I've put on the foam interface pad and I'm doing the curved edges. I like to use a higher grit sandpaper when I'm using the foam interface pad on curved surfaces. It allows the sandpaper, because it's thinner, to conform to the curved surface easier than a lower grit sandpaper would, because it's thicker and more coarse. And it also helps to avoid taking too much meat off that curved surface whilst you're sanding it. Now I'm giving the base of it a really good scuff sand with 120 grit sandpaper. I'm going to be staining the top before I paint the base, but I want to get all of the sanding done and out of the way so I can create a dust-free space before I start painting or staining anything. So I'm using Millie washed away stain in the colour Ice. So I'm brushing it on using a sleek brush, which you can get from the Millie website. So brushing it on, and then I just go through with a rag and wipe off the excess. Millie washed away stains are really easy to use and non-toxic and just absolutely great, and come in some absolutely amazing colours. Like a lot of stains, they can appear to be very opaque as you apply them, but as it dries it will become more translucent and less opaque. Don't know how else to explain that. I can't word today apparently. Now, the reason I do my edges first is because it's inevitable that you're going to get stain onto the top surface. So what I do before I do the top is I go over it with my Millie Prepmate2 Orbital Sander and just get off any stain that went over the top. Now I'm using Millie Satin Clear Coat with a sleek brush. Make sure you do thin coats. You don't want to put too much on your brush because it'll kind of just sit on the surface and you won't get even coverage, and it helps eliminate any, not brush strokes, but there's another word, I can't think of it right now, it'll come to me. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely love the finish on this, and I love the way it works with the stain. You can leave the stain as it is and leave it more opaque because it has got the built-in top coat, or you can go over it with the clear coat by itself and have a completely different effect. You'll be able to get a better view in this shot of what I'm talking about with how even a coverage and even coats you get with this, as well as the sheen. So you can see the light hitting off it and you can see how even it is. You don't have the drag, you don't have the light hitting it in random ways or anything like that. So once I do my second coat of clear coat, I go over the entire thing with some 400 grit sandpaper, smooth sand it, and then put one more final coat on. Before I start painting the base, I am going in with sleek tape to make my job a little bit easier. I did sand these parts on the underside because I was going to pull the table apart, but I didn't want to pull it apart and risk not being able to put it back together properly, so I'm going to paint these parts instead. So I'm using Millie Boutique Mineral Paint in the colour Manning Grey. This is a beautiful colour, but as it turns out it was a bit too on the blue side for what my client wanted. She wanted more of a charcoal colour, so I ended up changing the colour of Manning Grey slightly. So I started with a Manning Grey base, added some black to darken it, and then to neutralise or to counter the blue, to cancel the blue, I got there. To cancel the blue slightly in the Manning Grey, I added some orange paint and some white paint and went between the two until I got it to the colour that I wanted it to be. So the colour you see me using here is Manning Grey. I wanted to make sure that you see Manning Grey as it is because obviously you can't buy the mix that I made. So I want to make that very clear. This, as it is matting grey. So now that I've altered the colour for the client, I'm going in with Millie satin top coat. Again, light coats. So here is a quick reminder of what it looked like before. And here she is, all finished. Now, as I'm still setting up my new workshop in this shed, I don't actually have a staging area at this time, so there won't really be a lot of photos of this. So this is it, guys. But I will be finishing and organising this shed a lot better and setting up a staging wall, so I'll go back to taking photos and stuff, but this is a client's piece, so photos weren't really necessary for this. I also want to say a quick thank you to Kerry for once again supporting me through the Buy Me a Coffee app. I absolutely appreciate it. You know I do. Thank you so much. So the next video after this will be the chairs that go with this. They don't actually match properly because they weren't the chairs that were intended to go with this table, so I have to tweak the stain a bit. But yeah, that'll be the next one. I'm currently working on it now, trying to get them done. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment. Let me know what you think. I love it. Absolutely beautiful. Really happy with how it turned out. So yeah. See you next time.